Welcome to the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast, presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But with that $50 or more first-time deposit at PointsBet, you're also going to receive that free CHGO membership, a free CHGO t-shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker, access to our Discord and all of our great web content. And on Mailbag Monday, that's when that Discord access comes in very handy because you get priority, sir or ma'am or friend, on Mailbag Monday. Trademark pending. It has been submitted. No one can use Mailbag Monday. We created that as a team a couple months ago.
It's gone through.
Yeah, so, you can't, no one can say Mailbag Monday except us.
I'm sure another local network will start using that soon.
Every time someone says Mailbag Monday, quarter goes into the jar. Getting a Mailbag Monday jar going.
All right, should we get this? Before we get to our mailbags, we have a question for everyone in the audience. This morning, we were discussing odd memorabilia finds. Kevin, our content manager, found a Bobby and Brett Hull plate, collector's plate.
Nice little dinner plate.
Very strange.
Eat off the faces of the Hulls.
Bobby's toupee in full effect on the plate.
Brett's mullet.
And then it led to our general manager, Jake, sharing some memorabilia of He Who Shall Not Be Named. There is a jersey with the last name on it. There's a puck with the signature, and there's a stick with the signature.
Signed stick.
And I contend that Jake has to put $3 in the jar.
Which you still owe.
I owe $3. I know. I don't have any cash on me.
He who shall not be named.
No, he totally does.
So submitting a photo.
He didn't say his name, but he didn't have to. He's invoking the bad juju by just putting his name out.
We had to read the name.
And by the way, that autograph stick and puck, since it's got He Who Shall Not Be Named's autograph on it, they have no movement clauses as well.
Yeah. And they're about $2 million too expensive.
Yeah.
So I think Jake needs to pay.
Yes.
Yeah. He's like, I just shared the photos. No.
And he knows better, so I think he should pay double.
Because he made us think of the name.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that is a true crime against humanity.
Implanting the name in our brains.
All right,
so there's a movie about that.
Put a little IOU in there for Jake too, Lawrence, for later today. I will bring my $3 cash tomorrow. I'm sorry.
$3.
I forgot.
Yeah, we're really racking up the dough here.
I know.
Yes.
I know. It's gonna be a worthwhile thing at the end of the year. What are we gonna do? Like donate it all? We had a couple ideas with it.
Yeah, we got some ideas.
We'll make it kind of fun where our listeners can send donations to the tip jar, and we'll give it to something nice. Something worth saying.
Do a 24-hour telethon.
There you go.
Next draft.
I don't want to produce that. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll do an hour.
McBaconator tells Jake he's got to pay up. So there you go. McBaconator has spoken.
If McBacon,
how did you read that as McBaconator? Like,
I'm fat.
You're correct. I'm shocked.
Yeah, I can see things that way.
McBaconator.
Yeah.
If they say it, you got to do it.
Right.
Pay up.
Chuckle Mucko says $3 Dunkin' gift card in the jar. No, we want money.
Yeah,
we want money.
We need cash.
Jake's got to give money. Sorry.
He can afford it.
Yeah, he's got the dough. All right, let's get to it. Should we start Mailbag Monday? We got a ton of questions. Thank you, everybody, for getting to us so quickly yesterday. And as I said in the preliminary show read, Discord users get first dibs on Mailbag Monday. So let's start it, Lawrence. Where are we going first? Sung Hyung, who has a question for us every week, says, if you guys had the chance to pick any current retired Blackhawks player to replace Eddie Olczyk to be the next color commentator, who would it be?
It's a good question.
Retired. Any current retired? So this is people who are still with us.
I would imagine that to be alive. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't know if this was just like a dream scenario. Anybody. But yeah, any current retired player.
So we can't have hologram Harry Carey.
No hologram Harry Carey. No.
No hologram Stan Mikita in the booth.
No, because I was gonna say maybe Tony Esposito would be good, but if it's people who are still with us, retired Blackhawks, that's a thinker.
I've got one.
I would say the one. Maybe one that I would think would realistically do it is actually realistically in the plans. It's Patrick Sharp.
Yeah.
All right. You go first, Jay.
You invoked the name last week. This is not a name we have brought up in this role yet. Chris Versteeg.
That's the guy I wanted.
Steger.
I think he would be great.
He has shown some chops, some broadcasting chops, before. I think with a little bit of training, he could absolutely get really good at the job. The question is, how analytical is he in terms of like being able to break down film? But guess what? Like, if you don't have to replace Eddie O with the next Eddie O.
Right.
All you've got to do is put the person in there that's going to be the best at the job. Like Dale Talon was not one to really break down film. Now, he did Zapruder film, the guy getting hit in the balls with the puck, and called it the weenie. But that's about as deep as Dale got into video analysis, and he was beloved.
So
it's not necessary
to
have you, here, get my markers out and all that stuff. I don't need that. It's a nice perk.
Yeah, it gets a little much. You don't have to do that for every play.
Right.
Right. I will say though, for Vestige, if you paid attention to his Instagram stories, I don't believe it was this last postseason, but 2 postseasons ago, from his home, he would break down plays on his TV with I believe it was a putter he had as his pointer. So I mean, he has the ability to do that. But yeah, I think I remember when he retired from the Ice Hogs, talked about potentially going into broadcasting. He had a short stint, I think, with Sportsnet. So, yeah, I mean, I think if he had a little training, he'd be pretty good at it.
Yeah, that would be the guy I would have brought up. But since you already mentioned him, a more realistic guy, a guy that's got experience that I would bring in, Brian Boucher. He's a former Blackhawk. He does. I like him. He does a really good job. I think. I don't think he'd want to do it. I think he likes doing the national, and he'd have the same situation as you had with Eddie Olczyk. You're going to have a guy here for 60 games or whatever it is. But I would have no problems with him coming to Chicago.
The person that I would have with fully understanding he would not do it, but I think would be fantastic because he would just say whatever he wants to say, Dustin Byfuglien. I think that would be a fantastic broadcast.
Corey Crawford would be a give no F's guy. Like they'd have to have their finger on the dump button around him.
The two of those guys, man.
I think that would
Dave Bolin would be fantastic too because he's another guy with no filter and just tell you exactly what he thinks.
Dave Bolin has no filter, but it takes you 2 years to remove it. I was doing with those Bud Light bar events with him, and it took me probably like 8 or 9 hour-long Q&As with him for him to like finally kind of open up. And then when he did, he was great, but man, it was like pulling teeth for a couple of years. But then once he trusted me, it was great.
Yeah.
Like he was really, and I think he also kind of grew into his role and he started to win, and it, everything kind of, and he just matured as a dude. He was like 22 when I started with him.
Right.
Did
you and Dave ever collaborate on anything?
Oh, yeah, that book right there, The Big 50, The Men and Moments That Made the Chicago Blackhawks. David Bolin wrote the foreword of that book.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I had to realize in writing a book that forward and forward are spelled differently.
Yeah.
I kept, just from muscle memory, writing forward like the hockey position. I'm like, no, it's 4 words, W-O-R-D. I wrote a book, everybody.
There you go.
Yeah. That's why they have editors.
I did not have an editor because it was COVID.
Oh.
So there are probably some typos and bad grammar in there. My mother-in-law edited it. She went through it and looked at it. She was an old English teacher. Not old English. She's a former English teacher.
I wonder there were all those weird placed E's in that.
A lot of E's and extra E's thrown in those words.
Yes.
Love thy Blackhawks.
Yeah. Yeah,
You're talking about the 40-ouncer person.
But thank you for the plug. You can buy it anywhere great books are sold. I recommend bookshop.org. Surf and Duck says Stu Grimson. That's another great name.
He'd be good
for the broadcast booth. Interesting, it hasn't come up enough. I wonder if the people making the hire want someone a little more connected to the younger crew. I don't know if that should matter. I think you hire the best guy you can, or girl, or whoever you can.
Hire the best person who's going to do the best job.
Yeah, and the affection will come.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, what do we got next from Discord?
We got a super chat, which is going to trump the Discord at this point. So it's from Brandon.
Brandon says, will the Blackhawks bring back the training camp festival or the Blackhawks convention? It's a good question.
They haven't had them because of COVID, and the seasons have been screwy. I have heard nothing, and I would assume
convention would have already happened.
It would have either already
July.
Yeah, it would have already happened. So
it would be
maybe not this year.
Yeah,
maybe next year. Maybe they just scrap it because that was an old regime thing.
Maybe
I feel like a training camp fest could get some interest.
Yeah, that usually involved them playing down in Notre Dame for a few days.
They used to do the training camp fest is they would hold a practice at the United Center.
And a bunch of
I'm thinking of something
inflatables
else.
and all that sort of stuff in the
they'd give
parking
out
lot.
a bobblehead, and it was only like $10 or something.
Yeah, it was cheap.
It was like $5 or $10. You basically bought a ticket for like the 100 level, and you could sit wherever you want. Like it wasn't assigned seats. But they haven't done that in a while either.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
it's easy because
it's easy to sell tickets to see the defending Stanley Cup champions practice.
True.
Nobody wants to see this team play, let alone practice.
Maybe
Come see
because
Alec Regula.
Yeah, maybe because the Fifth Third is so easily accessible, they don't think that people can go see
open
to the public fest
practice
is
whenever they want.
anything different. I don't know, but
I
yeah,
think-
as far as I know, I haven't heard of any plans of anything like that.
They should do everything they can to build excitement towards this team. And I think one step you can take is to make the players that are here accessible and have fans like be able to reach out and touch them and talk to them and spend time with them. That's what's going to buy you time. And this is something I would sort of battle with PR people back in the score days, was like the best thing you can do is put your players on the radio or put them in front of an audience, because people gain affection for those players and those personalities. They get to know them a little bit, and they get more leeway that way. And I think, having a connection to those guys, if you're bringing some kids out, and Mackenzie Entwistle is awesome to a 10-year-old kid, right? Like, what's the harm in that? I think it makes perfect sense. And I feel like a training camp fest is something that could come together pretty quickly. A Blackhawks convention is a lot more.
That's a lot of
like,
planning.
It's a lot of
realistic,
pre-sold tickets and rooms, and if it's not going to be well attended, it's probably not worth doing. But a training camp festival, I think that's very easily done.
Yeah.
And I hope they do it. All right, back to the old Discord we go. Who's next on our list here? This is from Tony's Back.
BAC.
BAC? I don't know what that means.
I believe that's a Tony La Russa dig.
Blood alcohol content.
That must be a Sox lover.
Or hater. Out
Same
of the
thing.
Hawks defensemen drafted under the previous regime from 2019 to 21, which guys would you pick to surprise and exceed expectations? Good question.
My guy is Isaac Phillips. I love Isaac Phillips. I think he's going to be a guy that is going to be sneaky good, that you don't. He's not one of the guys you've heard a lot about, but all he's done since getting the chance, he got to play in the AHL 2 years ago because the OHL didn't play, and all he did was earn a professional contract within like 3 weeks. And he was their second best defenseman all season last year.
Yeah.
I'd put him behind Ian Mitchell. He's a guy that can provide a little bit of offense, but he's big, he's physical, and he's such a likable guy. One of the nicest guys I've ever when I've talked to him after games, I'm kind of like, how the hell were you the guy that was just punching that guy's face and turned it into goo 10 minutes ago?
Yeah.
And now you're this soft-spoken, gentlemanly guy. But Isaac Phillips is my guy. I think he's going to be here in Chicago sooner than later. I think, and he'll be a fan favorite when he gets here.
Yeah, I've liked Isaac Phillips. He got a short audition at the NHL level last season. He's definitely one to keep an eye on. Someone that I think has the ability to exceed expectations is playing with Team Canada right now. It's Ethan Del Mastro.
That's mine too.
Fourth round pick, big, strong kid. He's been a leader with his OHL team in Mississauga. Was captain of that team last season. Assume he'll be the captain again this season. Defensive focused guy, but his offense has started to pick up a little bit as he's developed his game a little bit more. I think we'll see him again in December with Team Canada. So he's someone that
in a bigger role too, probably.
With a bigger role for sure.
And he's gotten more playing time than I thought he would.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get a game.
And he got that one game, and they're like, nope, you could keep playing.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign too.
Yeah, it's a good sign, definitely. So, we'll I think we'll see a little bit more of him this tournament. We'll see a lot of him, I think, in December at the World Juniors for the 2023 tournament. He'll play a big role for Mississauga this season. And I think he's a few years away, but he's definitely going to be someone that, by the time I'll say by the time he's ready to hit the professional ranks, he's going to definitely look better than a guy that you're like, oh, he was a 4th round pick. I think he's gonna surprise a lot of people.
I think Wyatt Kaiser too, if you've been watching the World Juniors, has turned some heads too, adding some offense. One of their better defensemen for sure on a team that's really strong defensively. Team USA has been shutting people down like crazy, and I know Sweden came back a little bit last night, but one was kind of a fluky goal. Actually, both were kind of a little bit fluky when you looked at them, and USA dominated that game, and the score was 3-2, but it was not that close. And Kaiser's been at the top of all of it. And a lot of the Blackhawks, Kaiser and Slaggert and James have been really, really good for Team USA. But I think you could throw Wyatt Kaiser's name in that mix. And Nolan Allen is a first-round pick, so it can't be a surprise. But watching him at camp this year, you really saw, like, okay, maybe he's not going to put up a ton of points, but you see that is an NHL defenseman.
Yeah, kid who's got a willingness to be physical and battles in the corners a lot. So, yeah, I think the expectations put on him as a 1st round pick will be hard for him to exceed. But I think if he can reach those first round expectations.
But he was a 1st round pick by he who shall not be named, so his expectations are probably pretty low.
Sure. We'll say
based
that.
on the track record there. So
definitely.
funny thing about Kaiser, you mentioned him. Like you say, he's finally finding offense to the game. The weird thing was when he was playing high school hockey in Minnesota, he was an offensive defenseman. And then he went to UND and was like, nope, I'm going to learn how to just be defense first. So this isn't him finding his offensive game. It's kind of like I'm bringing it back. I spent my first 2 seasons in college becoming a better defensive defenseman. Now I'm going to start being more offensive too. He's a very intriguing prospect. I'm excited. Like the Blackhawks defense could, dare I say, be good in 3 years, 2 years.
That's the hope.
There's a lot there, and even if not all these guys are going to be playing here with the Blackhawks, but you've got a very intriguing core, and you've got some really nice currency for like when you are ready to start making moves to like become a playoff team. You've got guys that you could say, hey, we need to go out and get that third line center. We can package maybe a couple of these guys and get what we need.
Some of these guys.
That's what prospects are essentially until they become full-time NHL players. They're currency.
When you look at it though, you've got off the top of my head maybe 8 to 10 defensive prospects you could project to the NHL. Maybe not stars.
Not stars, but guys who could.
But you're talking about obviously
6.
Korchinski and Renzel and Nolan Allen and Del Mastro, Kaiser, right? There's 5 for sure. Phillips, Mitchell, Bodine, Vlasic,
Regula.
who's already here, Regula. That's 10 already.
That's 10.
And that's we're just
Galvis.
spitballing.
Like,
there's
Galvis
a ton.
is another good one, yeah.
They've got a lot of options at D, and I think with the addition of the guys they drafted this year, the emergence of Del Mastro and Kaiser on the World Junior level, that it maybe have got, maybe these guys are better than we had been thinking, as we were kind of projecting long term, didn't see them as good as they've been. So it's good. It's a good problem to have, and you're right.
Can never have too many good young defensemen.
Of course.
Never.
Yeah,
Not a bad
absolutely.
thing. It's
Absolutely.
like Major League Baseball. You can never have too many arms in your system.
Yeah. So that's I mean,
the future is
all of
looking
us-
bright defensively.
it's funny.
and that's
it's
been
like,
their biggest problem.
yes, but it's funny how quickly, like in the course of 5 months, all of a sudden, like a lot's looking better.
And I think that it's more of an outlook too. It's not necessarily just the players, because some of these guys were here before, but it's now that this regime actually cares about development.
Yeah.
And has a plan, has a long-term plan, and knows that, like, hey, these guys are 2-3 years away, and we're going to give them all the time they need. In some cases, maybe too much time.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the difference. I think that's they added some more young players with this draft class, a couple defensemen in the first round, but knowing that these guys are going to be developed better than previous first round draft picks, especially at that position, have been, I think that's why we're a little more excited, because yes, we have the raw talent, but now this raw talent is going to be allowed to mature and develop properly, as opposed to, hey, we drafted you in the first round, get out there and play.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, no, you're bad after 5 games. We're trading you.
Yeah. The idea that you're a first round pick, you have to play right away, is not the norm anymore.
Yeah.
Which is good. Which is fine. If you're ready to go. But if you need time to develop, which most first round picks still do.
Especially
defensemen. Take the time.
Yeah. We got one more or two more from the Discord here. Two more. All right, McBacon says, do you think Seth Jones has anything to do with his brother staying in Chicago? Well, I think he has something to do with him coming to Chicago.
Yeah.
Because the Hawks were like, we want to get him, and maybe if his brother's here, he'll sign. I think Caleb Jones, we talked about it last week when the signing was announced, is a fine defenseman that you have around for a year, and he fills a spot until a prospect takes his place. And you talk about guys you can flip at the deadline. We've been talking about Domi and Athanasiou and Toews and Kane. Caleb Jones is another name like that, where a team looking to add some depth at defense.
Yeah,
he's going to have another year under his belt, and we've said, like, he's not a superstar, but if someone suffers an injury...
So if someone needs a 5th or 6th defenseman in a pinch on a contender, you could make a case for that.
Right, and get a late-round pick for him or a prospect and see what happens.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think... I don't know if Seth is demanding that Caleb get a contract.
It didn't seem that way at the end of last season when they were talking about, Caleb's an RFA at the end of the year.
Yeah.
What his playing with him meant this season. Obviously, them playing together was a first-time thing. Good experience as brothers to be able to do that. But I think they both kind of gave the impression that it's just like, we understand this is a business, and if we don't play together again, it is what it is.
I don't think they re-signed Caleb to keep Seth happy. Seth
doesn't seem that way.
It doesn't hurt, I'm sure.
It doesn't hurt. No, for sure.
But
probably
I feel like
wasn't
Seth's
like we got
contract is keeping him happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's got
That would be nice.
9.75 million reasons to be happy for
Yeah.
the next 8 years. But no, I don't. I mean, obviously, I think it was Caleb's play above everything else that got him that contract to come back.
Definitely.
But it doesn't hurt that your brother's,
Yeah.
the anchor here for the next few years.
I also think that we maybe overvalue that sort of stuff as fans. Like, it's more important to us than it is to the actual players.
Yeah.
Because I remember when they traded Kirby Doc, people were like, is Colton mad? Who cares?
Yeah,
Who cares?
He'll be fine. He'll be fine. All right, let's do another Discord from USM 0506.
Oh, nice.
Not really Hawks related, but just for a little fun, what are some of y'all's favorite shows to watch? Well, Mario, you were talking this morning about Bluey and Coco Melon and all the great programming you've been taking
What
in.
happens when you have a 9-month-old who, starting to introduce to TV. Those have been on the old TV there for last little bit, just to get my daughter acclimated to seeing television a little bit. But for me, we were talking before the show kind of a little bit about this, and I was saying how I feel like I no longer have stamina for like movies.
Yeah.
And especially for like TV shows that have like hour and a half long episodes. It's like, I'm out. I can't,
Was that a dig at Stranger Things season 4?
Yeah, they're all very
not
long.
directly. I've never watched Stranger Things.
Game of Thrones final
Never
season?
watched it.
New show debuts this weekend, right? The House of Dragons?
House of Dragon, yeah.
I'll check that out.
I mean, the correct
tell me all
answer is
about
The
it.
Bear. Come on, just say The Bear. Just go ahead. Say it.
The Bear was good. It was just very stress inducing.
It is very stressful.
I didn't see it. I'm terrible at. I'm the guy that watches popular shit 4 years later.
You would love The Bear.
I'll get to it at some
You
point.
and I have very similar taste in all things.
Do you like
4 years
do you
you'll
like,
watch The
do you
Bear.
like beefs? Then you're gonna like. The
Yeah,
Bear.
no, The Bear was
no,
great.
I never had one.
Speaking
of which, where's Casey? She was supposed to be taking us for beef sandwiches. Remember?
Is that today?
Not today, but
Not,
that was.
oh,
the
that was
plan.
that was a plan.
We gotta get
That was
on
a
that.
plan.
We'll make it work.
We gotta have a
I'm
chat
available.
with that young lady.
Yeah.
I want my beefs.
You would love The Bear. I absolutely love The Bear. I actually did a whole other podcast about The Bear not too long ago. I tweeted about it. Check it out. Love that show. I am watching season 4 of Stranger Things, watching with my daughter. So we're she can only kind of handle like one episode per night. She's 12, so she's like right on the border of this is a little bit intense for me kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So she only has like the mental capacity for one a night. But I think we got 2 or 3 left. So we're getting there.
We're getting there because I like Stranger Things, but my better half has never seen it, so we started from the beginning.
Yeah.
And we're
There
like
you go.
midway through season 2, so we'll get there at some point. Hopefully by the time opening night comes, we'll have finished that. And it's good for me, too, because I forgot a lot of
there's
the
so
things.
much to forget.
Yeah, and
And by the way, season 4 has so much going on that like you're forgetting like plot lines like as you're watching an episode. Oh yeah, this is happening. Oh, and this is simultaneously happening. And oh yeah, this.
I've become
but it's
a fan
really good.
of shows that are just like 6 to 8 episodes and that's it.
The Bear. There you go.
Like
The Bear's
Obi-Wan
perfect.
was good because that was 6 episodes and done. It was essentially a Star Wars movie broken
Yes.
up into 6 episodes.
And really good, by the way.
Yes. The other things I watched this summer was The Offer on Paramount Plus. That was the series about the making of the Godfather movie.
Oh, cool.
Really good. Great casting. The guy that plays Marlon Brando and a young Al Pacino. Holy cow. You would think you were watching the actual actors.
Okay.
Wow.
So that's really good. I know they had a lot of creative licensing. Severance, I'm not sure of that one. The other one,
My wife loved
Severance
that
was
show.
fantastic.
the other one I watched on Apple Plus, Blackbird, was amazing.
I've heard, and that's the dude.
If you like true crime, serial killer
like
stuff,
Mindhunter.
It was based on a true story. Guy goes to prison. It's the guy that played Elton John in the Rocket Man movie. He goes to
okay.
prison for like guns and drugs, and then they get him. They send him to like maximum security to talk to like the most crazy child killer, but who's about to get out on a technicality. So they send him there to befriend him and get a confession from him. It's so, and the guy that plays the serial killer, if this guy doesn't win an Emmy, they should just not do the awards anymore. So good.
That dude he's
Big
in.
Sell.
What's
he played the Olympic bomber. He's been in he always plays the creepy guy.
Well,
so I don't think
I think you should leave. He's
Yes.
the skit about Jamie Taco. He's stealing my lines.
Oh, that guy.
And then
Yeah.
it was Ray Liotta's last role
Yeah.
too. Ray Liotta looked like he was already dead through half of that,
Ugh.
but on purpose. On purpose.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in. That sounds right up my
It's
alley.
really good. It's only 6 episodes, and it's all out now, so you can get it done in like 2 days.
In terms of like sometimes too, I just need to like mindlessly watch TV. I know, Mario, in your background, you've got Bob's Burgers, Funko Pops on your shelf. Love Bob's Burgers. My go-to show.
What We Do in the Shadows
Yes.
is fantastic. It's one of
Amazing
my
show.
favorite
Oh,
shows
What We
out
Do in the Shadows is
there. That
great.
and Archer are 2 of my favorite current shows.
I like Archer.
The new season of What We Do in the Shadows is really off to a good. I thought last season was a little bit clunky. It's kind of found its legs again this year.
We just need more Jackie Daytona.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
But my
Regular
put
human
on an
bartender.
old show and watch it is Broad City. I freaking
Broad City
love
was
Broad City.
fantastic.
I love both Abby and Alana. I would happily take either of them into my home at this point in life, and I think my wife would be happy with that too. It would be wonderful. And with that, Abby is in the new League of Their Own, which just came out Friday. I haven't started watching
I
it
saw
yet,
that
but
getting promoted. Yeah.
once we finish Stranger Things, that's next on the docket.
She's
Yeah.
apparently playing the same style
If
role.
Darcy Carden's in it,
Yeah, she's awesome.
in.
Another show I really enjoyed, the new Perry Mason that was on HBO. If you've never watched that was really good. I'm waiting for more seasons for that. But like the classics, background, if I'm writing or something, it's like you just put on old Simpsons or old Family Guy. I can watch those forever. Like I always put Adult Swim on, like when I go to bed at night, because all those shows are great. But I've seen them a
Classic,
million
yeah.
times, so I can fall asleep.
Yep.
And then I wake up to Thomas the Train in the morning, and I'm all confused.
There you go.
That's like a bad trip.
Yeah, it's weird.
One show that I'm the worst person to talk about TV because you guys just talked about.
Oh, please, let's keep going.
Ton of shows that I'm just like, sounds great. But one show that if you haven't heard about it, I'm really excited for season 3 coming out. I think by the end of this year is Ted Lasso. Obviously, worst kept secret in like sports related TV.
See?
Ted Lasso.
I'm the type of guy that-
I fell in love with that show immediately.
I'm the type of guy that like, oh, everybody loves it. I'm not watching it. That's just I don't know. Every time everybody says it's great.
I think you would like it. I'm not trying to oversell it, but
it's got
because
heart.
I'm the same. I'm the same way. Like when freaking Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, The Wire, Better Call Saul. Like I've written them off because I'm like, sure, everybody loves it. Whatever, cool. Like I get so jaded about it, and that's probably why I'm terrible at like watching TV. And I just watch like Schitt's Creek on loop.
when everybody says something's great, I'm like, yeah, I'm out.
No.
Yeah, I was late on Schitt's Creek because I just didn't like the name. I thought it was a stupid name. It's a bad joke, but that was hilarious.
I still think Schitt's Creek was not as good as everybody thought it was. It was good. I enjoyed it, but
it got better as it went
got
on.
better. But I just never was like fully in on it.
Yeah.
Neil B says Fargo. Hell
I've heard
yes.
a lot of good stuff about that.
Fargo is awesome.
That doesn't have anything to do with the movie, right?
No.
Okay.
Except they have Minnesota accents.
There you go.
That's the only the season with Ewan McGregor where he plays twin brothers that are totally different.
Oh,
Incredible. And it's got Scott Pilgrim, who's the love interest in Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, what's her name?
I don't
The
know.
purple-haired girl. She is like now an adult, and his love interest in that movie, and she is fine, as the kids say. But and then in the most recent season of Fargo with Chris Rock, which is based in Kansas City, but it's actually downtown Blue Island, is really cool. That Fargo is great. I don't know if there's a new one like on the horizon at all, but they're good, and they all kind of interweave.
Is that one of those where like each season is like a different storyline?
Yeah, but
Okay.
Yeah.
if I'm remembering
But sort of
correctly, there is
connected.
like they all connect somehow.
Kind of like American Horror Story.
I
which
gotta
is a
watch.
great
My buddy
series.
Charlie was on
Great
that show. He
series.
was murdered by the Manson family.
Oh,
He
nice.
played Jay Sebring.
Okay. I haven't gotten to that season yet, but
right,
the
now-
early seasons of American Horror Story.
Shockingly, the chat is not yelling at us about now talking about the non-news.
The chat
and-
is
and
loving
Blackhawks.
the TV.
But I'm going to say let's move on. How about we do an ad read and then we'll get to some more questions. I got a couple from the chat and then we've got some
Okay.
off of Twitter.
I thought this
Mom.
was like
There goes the producer producing again.
Yeah,
What
sorry.
a jerk.
I don't feel like doing an
CHGO
hour and a half
TV.
about TV, and that's a whole other
I
podcast.
disagree, but okay, fine. Hey, if you're enjoying what we're doing here, now that the chat has been purged of certain people, the best way to continue to support us is to download the PointsBet app and use the code CHGO when you sign up. Do that now, and you know you're going to get 2 risk-free bets. But also, you may have forgotten, with a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership. You're going to get the free T-shirt. You're going to get access to all of our great web content. You're going to get access to our Discord, which gives you priority on Mailbag Monday, $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free T-shirt from the CHGO locker. All that for making a $50 or more first-time deposit at PointsBet and start playing along with those in-game bets. The NFL season is right around the corner, and that sport is custom-made for in-game betting. But please, don't gamble on preseason football. Don't do it.
Why the under for Bears Chiefs was a lock. That's the play on.
I guess overs and unders would be the way to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
No, you don't want to
Yeah.
bet on random teams unless you're betting on the Ravens. They've won 21 straight.
That's true.
So.
But that's got to end at some point. Anyway, play along at home.
When they play the Bears, my friend.
That's exactly right. I had uncles talking to me this weekend that the Bears are going to be undefeated. I'm like, I think you're kidding, but I'm not totally sure because you're the age that would say that with truth behind it. So we'll see. We'll see if he's right. Let's see if Uncle John is right. Anyway,
The Bears preseason optimism, it never fails.
they
in this
didn't
town.
look like morons.
It never
That's
fails.
it. That's the bar.
Every year we all get sucked right back in, and by week 3 we want to fire
So
everybody.
you're saying my purchase of a Jack Sanborn jersey was a bad idea?
No, I don't like that investment.
All right.
Best 57 ever.
I got a question. Who the hell is Jack Sanborn?
He may be
not watch
the
the
greatest
game.
undrafted free agent signing in NFL history.
Scotty,
my friend.
He's a Badger.
He's also from Wisconsin.
No.
I
Well,
didn't- I
from
didn't-
Lake
shocking.
Zurich,
I didn't
played at
watch-
Wisconsin.
I didn't watch the game on Saturday because
You didn't invest time in the Bears preseason week
I got
one?
all the info I needed from CHGO_Bears.
There you go.
There you go.
That's all you need.
They told me what I needed to know.
Anyway, download the PointsBet app. Use that promo code CHGO when you do, and you get all that cool stuff. It's time to elevate your live betting game. Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services.
And Koopa Scoop says the same thing. If you gamble on preseason football, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Come on, there's lots of good lines there. Come
yeah.
on.
Yeah, that's not a good
There's
sign.
certain things you can do. I think your over and under makes a lot of sense. Under, Bears.
There you go. We are also probably brought to you by Owen, spelled OWYN, standing for Only What You Need. Owen is a 100% plant-based protein shake that gives you nutrition that works just as hard as you do. All of Owen's products are free of artificial ingredients, don't contain any gluten or dairy. They're allergen-friendly and easily digestible. Speaking of the Bears, you may have heard about Owen from Bears quarterback Justin Fields, who follows a plant-based diet. Cannot confirm nor deny, though, that there was some Owen in Justin Fields' back pocket during Week 1's game. If he played, I don't remember if he did. Owen and CHGO are partnering up to give you an awesome offer right now. You can get 20% off of your first purchase when you go to liveowen.com and use the promo code CHGO20. So be like Justin Fields, lead the Bears to victory, and try Owen. OWYN, only what you need.
All right, let's get back to some of the Twitter questions we have. Lawrence, who's on deck here?
Actually, I want to take something from the chat here.
Okay, all right.
This is from McLovin. Go for it.
What is Jay's, Mario's, and Greg's hot take for this upcoming season? Well, needs a grammar lesson.
What?
So McLovin needs a grammar lesson.
Why? What's wrong with that?
What is Jay's, Mario's, and Greg's? What are Jay, Mario, and Greg's hot take for
It's
this?
the internet.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Grammar
Hey,
doesn't count.
I went to
Answer the
school for
question.
journalism. I got to use my degree somehow.
There you go.
When
Hot take. Phil Kessel leads the Blackhawks to the Stanley Cup and eats hot dogs out of it for the third time. There's a hot take.
that's a steaming hot take.
That's amazing.
That's a steaming beef.
Man, hot take. Andres Athanasiou scores 25.
Ooh, wow. Someone's got to score.
Somebody's got to do it, right? 25 before he gets traded to the Flyers.
I'm going to say Max Domi becomes a fan favorite, then is traded.
That's not a hot
Sure.
take. That's probably what's going to happen.
That'll probably happen. All the people
He's
who are
going to punch
bitching and
some dude in
moaning.
the face in game one, and everybody's
Yeah.
going to love him.
All right.
Connor Murphy's going to get jumped in a game, and Domi is going to come to his rescue, and it's going to be a storyline for the entire season.
There you go.
Look, they're best
Like
friends
a hot
now.
take would be Peter Mrazek wins the Vezina.
That's a hot take.
Oof.
That's a hot take.
What are those odds on points bet?
A lot.
Plus 2 million?
Plus all the numbers in the world.
It's off the board. That's what it is.
Surf and Duck says, if Mitchell does not make the NHL roster out of training camp, does he get traded?
I don't think you need to- no.
Training camp, maybe not. I think
There's-
if he does not have an NHL impact this year, that might be on the table for next summer.
Well, and you think about the potential of spots opening up during the season, whether it's injury or maybe potential trades. I think you want to have someone like Ian Mitchell, who is still young, still on his development path, and last season in the AHL looked like he was taking proper steps in that development path. You want to have a player like that if they're not on the NHL roster to start the season, if there's a scenario in which they get brought up, you're not bringing up a guy who's not ready.
Right.
And it seems like Ian Mitchell should be ready to take that step to be a more regular NHL player. We'll just have to see where, if and when, that opportunity is presented to him.
And, there's no rush to trade any of these guys. And plus, if Ian Mitchell can't make the NHL roster on this team, where's his trade value? Why would you trade it when it's super low?
Yeah.
Because most teams are going to be like, well, if he can't make the Blackhawks, he's probably a bum. I'm not going to give you anything for him.
Right, yeah.
So that's not the time. Ideally, if you're ever thinking about trading him, you let him make the team and show that he could be an AHL defenseman. Then you trade him because you'll get more for him.
He is 23 years old and a restricted free agent after this season. So some decision has to be made on him this year. So we'll see. That will be very interesting. By the way, where is it? Somebody asked me about Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Yes, that's who I was talking about in Fargo. Thank you.
There you go.
And there is going to be a season 5. I just found that 2 days ago that came out, so that's exciting. All right, who's next? We got some Twitty questions. The Matrix.
Yeah, this is the one that spawned the title of our episode. Big one.
Who is the first to go, Toews or Kane?
I mean, are we trying to go by the hour on which trade deadline day they're traded?
Could be.
I think Toews has gone first. I just think he is more willing to waive his no movement clause and have a new opportunity than it appears Patrick Kane is. But yeah, if we're splitting hairs on which one of them goes first, I would say Jonathan Toews, just because it seems more likely he's more willing to go.
I think he might be more likely to say, get me the F out of here now, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kane is more patient, will tolerate more than Toews will.
Seems that way.
Right.
Even though I feel like, Pat, we've had all these interviews and discussions and whatnot about Jonathan Toews and his attitude towards it, but there's been no like exclusive interviews with Patrick Kane on his thoughts because he's just kind of left it as like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And maybe behind closed doors, Patrick Kane is, grumpier than Jonathan Toews has been. We just don't know. But yeah, I think from what we're seeing outwardly, publicly, it seems like Toews has needed more self-convincing to even just be on board for what this season will be to start.
Yeah.
I mean, Kane obviously would be the easier to trade, has more value. I have a sneaking feeling that that Kane is here beyond this season.
Is that a hot take?
Is it?
He's got incentive to stay.
It's a lukewarm.
It's
take.
mild.
It's a
mild.
room temperature take.
It's mild sauce. It's not original hot.
Yeah, I think Kane is back after this season. I think he wants to break those records, and you got to have somebody here to sell tickets.
Somebody.
I could see Kane being more on board with mentoring young players. But who knows? A lot of people think we see it here in the chat. Toews goes home. Do the Jets need another aging, overpaid guy? They got a roster full.
And are the Jets the biggest contender that he would want to go to? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, if he's going to want to trade, I think he's going to want to trade to go get another cup, and the Jets ain't it.
It's also important to remember that when Jonathan Toews was growing up, the Jets were not a thing.
This is true too.
Right. They were in Arizona.
Yes.
He goes to the Coyotes. Heard it here first.
Yes. So
Toews for Logan Cooley. Make it happen.
man, I like Logan Cooley.
He's pretty decent.
He's good. I'm a fan. All right, what do we got next on our Twitter questions here?
Let's see.
Twitter
What
machine.
is
Tweets.
next? How about, let me remove that thing real quick. Hold on one
Blackhawks.
second.
There isn't much
There we go.
of an ask. There isn't much to ask here.
Well, considering the
Thank you,
Bears
Mark.
are going
Mark
17-0, my friends, it might be tough for the Blackhawks to win more than that.
This is actually sort of a two-parter here because we got Mark saying who wins more games, Bears or Blackhawks. That's not great. But he also said,
It's going to be higher.
what's going to be higher, Giolito's ERA or Mrazek's GAA?
What's Giolito's ERA at right now? Do we know that?
A lot. I think
Yeah,
it's
no,
almost near
Mrazek's
6.
GAA will not be that high.
Oh, I'm getting my Sox pictures confused. Giolito's a guy that used to be good and now bad,
He had
right?
one really good season, yeah.
Isn't that all the White Sox?
Dylan Cease is kind of good.
He's good. True.
Cease
If
is
it was
good.
Cease's ERA, I would say Mrazek would definitely be higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Peter
Dylan Cease is
Mrazek's
pretty good.
GAA is higher than Giolito's ERA, then that's really bad. Alex
Then he
Stalock,
then he
on the
would
other
have
hand, maybe.
He would have played one game, allowed 7 goals, and never played the rest of the season.
Yeah. Speaking of Cease, there's
Speaking of
our
Dylan Cease,
our
go to
Cy
this.
Cease.
Go to
Mustachioed shirt.
CHGOLocker.com
What a mustache.
and see the old new releases. We got a Cy Cease CHGO White Sox jersey T-shirt. You can go and check that out and become a member while you're there.
Yeah.
And get first preference in the Discord channel for our Mailbag Mondays.
That's exactly
That's
right.
worth the monthly fee right there.
I will say, just based off of the fact that there's more darts to throw at the board, the Blackhawks will have more wins than the Bears.
Yeah, that's the safe bet.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I mean,
Even
it's
if
pretty
even when the Bears go 17-0, I think the Blackhawks can pull off
That
18
is
W's this year.
the sweet barbecue level of heat on the hot take there.
All right, here's one from Dave. He says, here's a random question. Besides Colorado, who is the next team in the Western Conference that's loaded for this coming season? Field hockey emoji. Western Conference team that's loaded. Boy, it does
Other
really
than
feel like
Colorado?
Colorado, and that's it, doesn't it? But that's certainly not the case. Who do I
Edmonton.
like? Edmonton. I
Edmonton's
just
pretty good.
can't believe in them. I don't know why. Like,
Yeah, well, they're stopping the Mike Smith experiment, so that gives me a little more hope. But did Jack Campbell end up signing
Yes.
there? I'm not.
That's an
Yeah.
upgrade, at least.
It is, but it's more of an unproven question mark. We really don't know a lot about Jack Campbell, except he can't win in the first round. But that was more the culture. Was that a Maple Leaf thing, or was that a Jack Campbell thing?
That's blue and white disease there.
So Jack Campbell, is an upgrade over Mike Smith, but is he a guy that makes you a cup contender? I don't think so.
there's like
Improves your odds.
Calgary lost a lot. They're going to be good again,
But they
but they're not strong enough to be. I know they added
they
two.
lost a lot, but
lost-
they also brought in Huberdeau and Weegar. That's not bad.
You lost
No.
Gaudreau and Kachuk though.
Yeah, you lost two 100-point
that's
guys
tough.
and replaced them with Jonathan Huberdeau and a defenseman.
Good defenseman.
Good
though.
defenseman.
But I think there's a lot of teams in
They'll
the,
still be good.
Where do they get that other 100 points that they
They'll
lost?
still be good.
There are a lot of
Andrew
teams in the West that took
Mangiapane.
steps back, though. You know, like,
No, yeah.
I'm just looking here, like, who really took a big step forward?
Are going to be a really good regular season team, but they showed in the playoffs that outside of that top line, there's not a lot there. And if Markstrom has a bad night, you're in trouble. And I think they overused Markstrom big time last year. He ran out of gas in the playoffs. Like, they barely got past Dallas. They couldn't score against Dallas because they shut down their top line. They don't have the depth to make a deep run. But I think they're going to be a very good regular season team.
They'll be a playoff contender for sure.
Watch out for, before Robin Leonard got hurt, I would have said expect the Knights to rebound, but it's
tough.
That's tough to
breaks
do
my heart.
without Leonard. Yeah,
I think Anaheim's due for a step up. They're not going to win anything, but they're going to be better than a lot of people expect.
The Blues are going to be good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
A team that's not loaded, but I think got better and will make some noise, I think, are the Kings. I think they're going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge believer in them just yet. They had a lot go right last year.
Yeah.
Anze Kopitar played out of his mind. Jonathan Quick had a resurgence. If those two guys don't do that again, where are they at?
What did they add? They added
Kevin Fiala.
Right.
So I'm not sold on them being a playoff team right off the box. I'm not saying they're going to miss the playoffs, but I like the Ducks, what they're doing. But yeah, man, the Western Conference, it's Colorado's to lose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
for sure.
Bex's comment here. She says, so if all the Western Conference teams took steps backwards, the Hawks have a chance, right?
This is my nightmare.
Knock it off.
This is my
Bex.
nightmare.
We don't need that kind of positivity around these
Guess
parts.
by that theory.
Yes, they could, but anybody scores a hat trick for the Blackhawks, they're getting traded the next morning. They're out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely feels like it's once again Colorado's not just division, Central Division, but also conference.
Yeah, I'm not a big believer in the Minnesota Wild.
There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be. I feel like you could probably go down the list of the Western Conference, and you could pick who are the 8 going to be, and be pretty confident about it. It's just when it comes to playoff time, which of those 8 are built.
The Eastern Conference is where
East is
crazy.
Open,
and that's funny because last year we knew who the 8 teams in the Eastern Conference were by like Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And now it's wide open with what Detroit did, with what Ottawa did. You got some teams moving up. You got some teams moving down. What are the Capitals? Where are they going to be this year?
Columbus added Gaudreau.
Columbus is a factor now. So, yeah, the East, it's kind of funny. Last year, like everybody was like, yeah, Colorado's really good, but you got all these other teams that are going to compete. Now it's kind of switched where the East is wide open. Like a team like Boston, I think is in serious trouble. If I were to make a prediction right now, they're not in the playoffs. They're not a playoff team in my eye. Like I think teams like Ottawa have done enough to jump ahead of them, and I think they're going to realize that they shouldn't have let Bruce Cassidy go.
Will be tougher. Yeah, they're not going to have Pasternak to start the year.
That's huge.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah, and here's David Krejci, who hasn't played in the league in over a year, and he's 1,800 years old.
It's true.
Have fun with that.
Yeah.
More Twitters? We got some more Twitter questions?
Oh, yeah, we do.
Let's
We
hit
do.
'em.
Let's see. What do we got here? How about... Oh, boy. From
Gary
Robbie.
Bettman asked you to make
Rob.
one change to improve the league. What is it and why? Send the Hawks to the Eastern Conference.
Fire Gary Bettman.
Find a way.
Retire.
Yeah.
Retire, bitch, as they like to say on Twitter. That's Gary Bettman wants to make the NHL better. Remove Gary Bettman from the NHL. That's my thing.
Yeah. I mean, you got to
I do have an actual thing, but go
market players better.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
Jesus. Like how Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, like how they're not household names outside of Canada it's a complete failure by the NHL. And yeah, they're doing better. I think getting the NHL back on ESPN and on a network like TNT and having those national broadcasts, give a shit about the NHL and show some interest in that is a big step forward. But you got to market these stars better. You got to have more creativity with it, I think. I don't know. I was a journalism major, not a marketing major. But I just think there's got to be a better way of marketing this, because the sport itself of hockey is amazing. It's the best sport out there. And I just think the biggest league has to do a better job of putting that forward and saying, look at these elite athletes doing like you're skating around at 20 miles an hour on knives with wooden sticks hitting a vulcanized rubber object around.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Like you got to be able to make that jump off the page a little bit more. And I think being able to package your superstars, doesn't matter what team, what market they're in, you just got to push them better. I don't know. It's an old take, but it still hasn't been, I think, adequately addressed.
I agree. Marketing better. As far as in-game play, I agree with our buddy Chris Dubiel here. Get rid of the loser point or make a regulation win worth 3 points. One way or the other. Either get rid of you lose in overtime, you still lost. I don't understand why you get a point for that. I hate it. And the other thing I would do, get rid of replay. It's counterproductive. We're sitting there for 10 minutes trying to see if a guy's skate was off the ice by a millimeter. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Like, use it for, did the puck cross the goal line or not? That's it.
I'm with you on that.
That is it. Goalie interference is garbage. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows what offside is anymore. Just
offside is an eye test.
Right. It will come out even in the wash. It's like with baseball where we're using replay to see if a guy's pinky finger came off the base for a millimeter. That's not the spirit of the thing.
Right.
So use replay to decide if the puck crosses the line. I don't understand how we can't put a chip in the puck like they do. If you could put a chip in a soccer ball to know it crossed the line, how are we not doing that in get rid of replay?
You put a chip in all of us, with the
right. Well, only those of us who got the
vaccine.
Yes, that thing.
And my cell phone service still sucks.
Right.
My 5G is flying. I'm getting boosted on Wednesday too, so look out.
There you go.
All right.
6G.
Yeah. So get rid of replay. I think it stinks. It's terrible that we sit there and take the momentum out of a game for 10 minutes to see if a guy's skate was on the ice or not.
Right.
It's stupid.
Inconsequential.
Like that whole thing at the World Juniors last week where it was literally 15 minutes. They reviewed it. They said a goal on the ice. They reviewed it literally for 10 minutes, said it was a good goal. Then the coach challenged it for something else, and then they took it off. It was the stupidest thing. It was just such a waste of time.
Yes. Nate says, did Greg just say relegation? Relegation could be interesting.
I've had many a long shower thinking about how to make the NHL like European soccer in the relegation. Like, the best I could come up with was you take the top how much time we got? You take the top 20 teams and the bottom 12, I guess it would then be. This works better if you expand to 36 teams. But anyways, you take the top 20, obviously 1 through 16 make the playoffs, and you play it 1 through 16, right? 17 and 18 play each other, and 19 and 20 play each other. Best of 3. Winners stay. Losers relegated.
I'm sorry, you're getting rid of 14 teams every year? That's you're saying 14 teams go?
No. The top 16 are in the playoffs.
What about the bottom 12?
The bottom 12 are the B division.
Oh,
I didn't get to the bottom 12 yet.
Oh, geez.
So there's 20 teams in NHL A, or whatever you want to call it, and then 12 or 16 if they expanded in the bottom division. The bottom 4 teams in A that don't make the playoffs, 17 plays 18 and 19 plays 20 in best of 3s. Loser of those series goes down, and the top 2 from the B League go up.
This sounds like a future piece at allchgo.com.
Yes,
No,
please
no,
do.
it's not.
Absolutely.
It's so convoluted in my head. I'm giving you the basic understanding.
I am a huge fan of chaos, so bring it on.
Oh yeah, I love relegation. It just never happened in North America.
It won't happen in North
Yeah,
America.
the owners would never let that happen.
Yeah.
No.
More like owners.
Yeah.
All right. Right? Can we say that on podcast, boners?
We got him.
I got a shrug from Lawrence. That counts.
We
All right, we got any more? We got to wrap up. We got any more Twitter questions?
We just needed that.
Yeah,
gif
let's
of, like,
see
all the
here. What do we
numbers
got?
flying over your
Absolutely.
face when,
Yeah.
when you were
We
doing
care
that.
about
That's all
this?
we need to do.
I don't know, I
All
can
right,
skip
so
this.
the
You wanna do this
407th
one?
Adam says, we know the big 3 names in the next draft. Wishful thinking about rounds 2 and 3. Honestly, it is way too early to answer that question.
Yeah,
Wait,
we got to
what?
let the season
I got to
play
read
out.
this. Hold on. Another 3 names at the top of the draft, but there are a few names after that. How about How about the wishful thinking names for round 2 and 3? Jesus, I have no idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
it's too early.
Save
to
that
talk
question
about
for next June.
We'll
we'll cover
talk
that.
let's talk in November
Next.
or December or
that.
something.
Frank says, "Are the Wirtzes looking to sell the team?" No, that's not going to happen.
No.
Next. Doug says, with so many great players already in and coming into the league, do you think the NHL will need to ease some of the salary cap rules, or will the
Yes.
upcoming increase
Yes.
be enough?
Get rid of it.
They do need to. Will they? Probably
Luxury tax
Get
is
rid
the
of the
answer.
cap.
not. Yep.
Let your
That's
teams
another
that
way
want
you
to
can
pay
improve the league.
pay.
Get rid of the salary cap.
yeah. Jesus.
Keep the floor. Get rid of the ceiling.
All right.
Yes, keep
Is
the
that all of our
floor.
Twitter
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah, we got a couple from the chat if you want.
All right, let's
Just wrap
rifle
it
through
down.
some
chats.
chat ones. Windy City Hockey. How long is Connor Murphy a Blackhawk?
How long's his contract?
I think it depends on how
4 more
well
years?
the young players do next year.
Depends on his health.
And his
And
health is huge.
Yeah.
Could be going
He's
at
got-
the trade deadline, maybe.
What, 3 years left after this
Yeah.
one?
3 years?
I think 3 years total.
Let's see. Connor Murphy.
He signed a
Connor
Signed
Murphy.
4 for 4, right?
Signed a 4-year extension.
This year and 3 more.
Wow.
So
So
4
So
years
this
left.
is the first
Okay.
year of the extension.
Yes.
All right.
He might be here for a while.
At $4 million. Very tradable deal. So we'll see. If some Hawks defensemen develop this year and are ready, they might look to move him, but I think he's going to be here for a while, which is not a bad thing.
Health pending, he might be here when they're ready to compete again.
Yeah,
Maybe.
could be.
Because he's decent on the ice, not a bad guy to have in your lineup, and also really good in the locker room. So
Yeah.
it's if you're not looking to capitalize on trade value at any point, there's no reason to get rid of him, I don't think.
Koopa Scoop says, what teams are we theoretically fighting in the reverse standings?
Arizona,
Arizona.
Seattle.
primarily.
I think Seattle.
Seattle's
Seattle
gonna
might
be
be a little
better.
bit better.
I think Seattle will be better. I think the Flyers are going to be hot garbage this year.
Wow. Ottawa could collapse
Ottawa could.
under their own expectations.
I don't see a huge jump from the Canadians either. Having Carey Price back, if he's back, will be helpful. But I think the Jets could be a disaster this year.
Yeah,
There's a lot of guys there that don't want to be there.
a lot of guys looking to leave.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's definitely some competition, but the main threat to counter Bedard
It's Arizona.
is that shoebox stadium having Coyotes. We're gonna be chatting with our buddies over at
Those
PHNX
are the
a lot.
Alex Stalock games, Luke Richardson.
Yes, got to lose all 4 of
Whatever.
those games against the Coyotes.
Yes.
There you go.
All right, last one from McLovin. Which rebuilding team over the last 4 years is going to surprise people this year? Buffalo, LA, New Jersey, Arizona, Anaheim, or Detroit? I don't know if Detroit would be a surprise. I don't know if LA would be a surprise because I think everyone
No.
sees them upwards.
LA was
trajectory.
they were a playoff team last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Of that list, I'm going to say we already said Anaheim. I'm going to say that, and I think the Devils might actually start being decent.
Part of the reason they weren't very good last year is because they had a lot of injuries. And they added some nice young defensemen. They got Jack Hughes healthy.
Yeah.
I think they could take a jump forward. Buffalo, I'd watch out for Buffalo too. This could be the year they might actually be
Come around.
decent.
Yeah, I know you're not a big believer of the Red Wings, but I think they've done enough to get out of their rebuilding phase. I think they're ready to take the step into being like, hey, we're a good team again.
If they were back in the Western Conference, I'd say they were a playoff team.
Sure. Yeah.
But they got
They got a tough road, yeah, but I think
do.
I think they have enough talent to be a competitive team.
Who are some of the names added by the Devils? I know Palat came in. They signed Thomas Tatar was a free agent signing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Holla was Holla there last year? Eric Holla?
Don't know.
He's played for a
John
lot of
Marino.
teams. Marino was a defenseman, came in.
Yeah, they've added some decent names, and hopefully they get a fully healthy Dougie Hamilton, and that will help the Devils too. But yeah, I think there are some teams trying for a jump.
They got some talent there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be one of those fringe wild card contending teams if everything goes right.
All right, we're late. Tell us
Yes.
about Foco, and we'll go home.
All right. If you are a big Chicago sports fan, and of course you are, because you wouldn't be here if you weren't, You need to go check out our friends over at FOCO because CHGO has teamed up with them to secure your access to the best collectibles and gear around, whether it's the Blackhawks, Bears, Cubs, Sox, Bulls. FOCO will have something for you, your kid, a friend, a loved one's, your mailman, whoever you want to get a gift for. FOCO is your hookup. Looking for some new gear, collectibles, or accessories? FOCO has officially licensed gear for men, women, and kids with everything from bobbleheads to swimsuits to Crocs. You can get it all over there. They have the best Chicago merchandise for your favorite team. That's FOCO, FOCO.com. And if you're watching on YouTube, after you smash that like button, bless you, make sure you can click on the link right there in the description for FOCO, FOCO.com. And even better perk to get you over there, use the promo code CHGO at checkout, and you will save 10% off all non-sale items. Check them out.
FOCO, it's good. Get yourself a Speedo. Do it. Summer's almost over. Surprise your loved ones with a Speedo.
Really
embarrass your
surprise them.
children.
Jump out of the closet wearing a Speedo.
All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Thanks to Lawrence for running things as always. It's always a challenge on Mailbag Monday with all the graphics and
Keeping
whatnot.
us on track.
Yes. And not letting this become a show
Derailing
of
our
us talking about
television
TV
talk.
shows.
The dad side of Lawrence came out tonight big time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I appreciate that. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Remember, as we said, smash that like button on the YouTube page. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, whatever. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you know when episodes go live. And those 5-star Apple Podcast reviews are like gold to podcasters. So if you got 30 seconds, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We would greatly appreciate it. We'll be back with Top Shelf Tuesday tomorrow. The topic, shrug emoji. We don't know yet. These
TV
things
shows.
come to us. Yeah, there you go.
TV shows.
So we'll be back. Thanks to, again, Lawrence. For Greg and Mario, I'm Jay. We'll talk to you Tuesday on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.